So, we're back on the air after a long weekend, and welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Tuesday, September 8th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories read here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com, or take a peek at our television station at IndianCountryTV.com. Here are the news stories from the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. An Onondaga teenager will spend up to 4 years in state prison for helping torch 2 churches on a upstate New York reservation. Jacob Homer pled guilty last month to third-degree arson in a July 5th fire at the Wesleyan Chapel among the Onondagas. The plea also satisfied burglary and arson charges from a fire the same day at the United Methodist Church, Onondaga Mission. 1 church was destroyed, the second heavily damaged. Arson and burglary charges are still pending against 17-year-old Dalen Antone of Ned Road, New York. Authorities said the pair had been drinking the morning the fires were set. Homer, who is 16, was given youthful offender treatment, which will eventually remove the felony conviction from his record and seal his file. A judge on the Standing Rock Sioux reservation has cleared the way for a former tribal chairman and the current tribal leader to square off later this month. Judge B.J. Jones denied the request of Vice Chair Avis Little Eagle to be given another chance to make the 2-person ballot. Little Eagle had finished third in the tribe's primary election in July, 1 vote behind second-place finisher Ron His Horse's Thunder, the current chairman. Only the top 2 vote-getters in the primary proceed to the general election. His Horse's Thunder will face former chairman Charles Murphy in the September 30th general election. Some Standing Rock tribal members are still trying to get their voices heard in support of the University of North Dakota's Fighting Sioux nickname. Archie Foolbear, one of the nickname supporters, said the tribal council did not discuss a resolution from his group at its meeting last week, but he will try again to bring it up. Nickname supporters are seeking a reservation-wide vote, but the council had rejected the idea earlier this year. UND plans to retire its nickname and Indian logo on August 1st, 2010, unless it can get 30-year agreements from the Standing Rock and Spirit Lake tribes by October of this year. Former Cherokee Chief Wilma Mankiller has been named Northeastern State University's first Sequoia Institute Fellow. University President Don Betts introduced Mankiller during a ceremony last week. Her office will be on the university's main campus in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. A former principal chief of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma, Mankiller plans to use her post to look at intellectual, economic, and cultural achievements of American Indians. She says she also wants to explore the leadership for women and indigenous people. Mankiller served as the Cherokee chief of the Oklahoma Nation from 1985 until retiring in 1995. The federal official in charge of Indian Affairs called for a new era of cooperation between tribes and the U.S. government while describing his own difficult decision to accept the job. Larry Echohawk says he didn't immediately accept President Barack Obama's offer to serve as Assistant Interior Secretary for Indian Affairs. Echohawk, who spoke during early September at a Native American summit called by Utah Governor Gary Herbert, devoted much of his address to atrocities committed against American Indians in early U.S. history. For that reason, he initially was reluctant to serve as a face of the federal government. He said he finally reconciled his hesitation by vowing to be an agent for change instead of a mere caretaker. Excuse me. Governor Bill Richardson has recognized the state's long-held chili tradition by proclaiming the week of September 5th through 12th as New Mexico Native Chili Week. Richardson said the announcement will help educate consumers about the varieties of chili grown in the state. He said it will also pay tribute to the state's chili growers and farmers. The proclamation highlights the development of the modern commercial chili varieties from native chili plants through research by New Mexico State University. It also notes the need to preserve native chili seeds to preserve crop diversity. The Cherokee Nation is moving ahead with plans for a 7-story hotel tower at its casino in West Siloam Springs on the Oklahoma-Arkansas border. Tribal officials say the 600 tons of steel is being delivered as crews begin construction on the tower. The casino was moved into a new facility in November, and the new tower is expected to be completed by next spring. The casino employs more than 740 people, and tribal officials say the addition of the hotel is expected to add another 60 jobs at least. The 100,000 square foot tower will have 140 rooms, 7 suites, 3 meeting rooms, a fitness room, and a coffee shop. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank our underwriters for helping us with this broadcast and you for coming back and joining with us again. Miigwech.